just let you go. Turn around again. Laugh at yourself. It's not half as bad as you thought it was. It's not an epic that you live. We can dress it up in red if that's how you want it. But you better get out and I will still hold you back from me.
New era begins. The Orion Swift Lifestyle Pro Series is green from Daytona.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Orion Swift Lifestyle Pro Series for race number 12. And it is the regular season finale here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. This is the America's Auto Auction regular season finale. I'm Arnold Slebby, your lead announcer, and joining me in the booth as always is Jacob Bell and executive producer Harold Barner. How's it going, guys?
It's going great, man. Happy to be here for our, like you said, regular season finale here, presented by America's Auto Auction. Charlotte Motor Speedway, 100-mile-and-a-half track. I think we're going to be in for a great show. A lot on the line tonight for these drivers. This is something that started the first week of October. So about 5 months ago, these guys were gearing in and trying to make their way into the playoffs some way or another. Tonight is their opportunity to solidify that and officially become the first group of playoff drivers in season one.
Absolutely, and that field just got a little bit bigger, or the margin got a little bit bigger for those on the outside looking in, because right before we went on the air, we learned that driver Brian Dixon, who is currently in the playoffs, will not be able to show up tonight and race his way in, because he was currently in the top 12 spots, but with him missing this race tonight, that will put him out of the playoffs. He will no longer be playoff eligible, so that puts in Dominic DeLeo. Currently, he was the first driver on the outside looking in. Now, he's the last driver currently in at the moment. And the points gap there just gets tighter and tighter.
Yeah, that playoff picture for sure is really starting to get tight as we head down into Charlotte tonight. And this is it, like you said. I mean, we don't have another opportunity for these guys to get their way in. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen tonight. So we'll be sure to bring that up here in a moment, guys, and we'll present our playoff picture to everybody here. But regardless, Hunter, tonight, mile-and-a-half track, Charlotte, what do you think we can expect from here?
I'm hoping for some 2-wide, maybe 3-wide action at some point, but I expect to see mostly single file. Some passes here and there, double file. But this will give us a good look at what the playoffs are going to look like, because it's a 5-race playoff after this, and 3 of those 5 races are at tracks that are over 1.5 miles in length. And I believe if I pull up the schedule here really quick, the next race after this, it's at Charlotte, we're at Charlotte now. The race that starts the playoffs, we're at Atlanta, that's 1.5 miles. Richmond, that's a short track. Then we go to Michigan, a 2-mile track. Kansas, 1.5 miles. And then Phoenix, the 1-mile D-shaped oval for the championship finale. So this will paint us a picture of who we have to keep an eye out for on these 1.5-mile tracks.
Yeah, and it's going to be key. Like you said, I mean, and we go right into the 1.5-mile track next week at Atlanta for playoff race number 1. So this race is obviously it's going to mean a lot for these guys. First off, to determine who's going to get in, and then second off, to see who's going to have possibly the car to beat next week when we go to that racetrack at Atlanta. Very similar structure, 1.5-mile track. I would say Charlotte is probably a little bit more narrower than Atlanta Motor Speedway is, but regardless, they're going to be similar. And here we got to look now at our playoff picture heading into tonight. And Hunter, you said it. You see Brian Dixon, his name in yellow there on the left side of your screen. He is not here tonight. So basically, take him out and move that cutoff one spot up. So that puts Dominic DeLeo now as the final driver into the playoffs, with Jeremy Horn only 3 points out.
Yeah, and that playoff push, it gets tighter and tighter in. There you see those that are locked in are in green. 4 of those having won a race: and Matthew Robinson, Nick Calda, James Shanewolf, and Caleb Steimer. Forrest Smith is the only one currently locked in without a win. He's gotten quite a bit of points that's locked himself in just on that in general, as he's actually third in the regular season points heading into tonight. So, really consistent driver in Forrest Smith, and he's the only one locked in without a win.
Yeah, then you got to look at that cutoff tonight. Trevor Williams coming in. He was the bubble driver. I'm sure that gives him a little bit more confidence to know that he's actually going to be 13 points ahead of the cutoff, because it's now Jeremy Horn. And he's got that little extra buffer room. But then the real opportunity here is what opens up for Rick Ward and Dustin Carroll now, because Rick Ward, he's going to come in now only 15 points behind Dominic DeLeo, and there's a slim chance he can make that up tonight just on the racetrack alone. Whereas Dustin Carroll down there, the final driver, he's actually going to be 26 points out of the playoffs coming into this race. So probably not likely he gets in via anything other than a win, pretty much, Hunter. So must-win situation still for the 92. But Dominic DeLeo's night just got a whole lot easier.
It sure did, but it'll only get worse if one of those drivers on the outside looking in gets a win, because then that will push him outside. So we got just a lot of moving parts to keep an eye out for. And I believe Dustin Carroll is the last one that is playoff eligible, because I'm looking here. Tonight would be race number 10. Anyone that's made it to 9 races or less in the season, not playoff eligible, because Rick Christensen at one point was playoff eligible. Then he's missed quite a few races, so he's no longer eligible. Jordan Hurley, he was playoff eligible, and he's got 3 wins on the year. He's got the most wins out of any driver in the Swift Lifestyle Pro Series. He had a suspension that dragged on, and now he's no longer playoff eligible because of said suspension. And I'm looking here, yeah, it looks like Dustin Carroll is the only one that could, well, the furthest one that could win tonight and still find himself in the playoffs.
Absolutely, but like you said, if it does happen, man, does it just crash that playoff picture to the max, because there's already a lot of points and moving parts and pieces coming into this race you're trying to keep track of as a broadcaster, but how about as a race car driver as well? And then when you throw in, like you said, maybe an unforeseen winner, all of a sudden that thing just gets thrown out the window. So it's a lot for these drivers to keep track of. But tonight, I think the real focus, Hunter, for all of us here is going to be between 2 drivers, and it's Dominic DeLeo. And then, like I said, the next guy out by just only 3 points now. It was supposed to be 13 coming into the night, but Jeremy Horn, 3 points behind Dominic DeLeo for that final playoff spot. Those 2 are going to be the ones to keep our eyes on.
Absolutely, and looking here on our practice chart, Dominic DeLeo, 8th quickest in practice. Jeremy Horn, on the other hand, he is 12th quickest.
Very similar in times, and that's how you get into these situations a lot, right? These guys have been racing for 12 weeks now, and obviously for them to be so close on points, they have to be so close on speed, which is exactly what you're seeing right now. Paul Irvin, Jordan Hurley, and Matthew Robinson are top 3 names on the chart. Really very familiar with them. Then you got Nick Trader and Sean Corcoran rounding out the top 5, as well as Travis Beckner there in 6. So a lot of familiar names out front, Hunter, and it's been a while since we've been to a 1.5 mile racetrack.
Yeah, it has been a while. The only one that I can really recall, or actually, it's Las Vegas. That was race number 4 of the season. We've had a couple tracks in between that are similar to a 1.5 miles, but not exactly a 1.5 miles in length.
Yeah,
look at the Nashville Super Speedway. That's about 1.33, and that's a concrete track with its sister track Dover, the race after Las Vegas, and then Darlington. It's an egg-shaped track, 1.33. I don't even know if I can compare it to a 1.5 miles, because
not at all.
It races way different and way harder. And yeah, so it's been a while since we've seen a 1.5 mile track. And going back on those 1.5 miles, I just had it up. Matthew Robinson won at Homestead, the other 1.5 mile track that we've been to. So only 2 races this year. we've been to a mile and a half, and those were won by Matthew Robinson and Jordan Hurley.
And then look where they are right now in the practice charts as well. It kind of makes sense, really, because you got Hurley sitting there second and Robinson sitting there third.
But now
but the driver
Homestead
in
is
front-
Homestead's a little different than, I mean, I wouldn't call that a traditional 1.5. You know, Chicagoland, Vegas, here, you know, those are your 1.5 cookie cutters. The Homestead banking issue is kind of a little different there. But
I was going to touch up on the 2 mile and a half winners this year, second and third. The only driver in front of them in practice is Paul Irvin, and he wasn't even at any of those tracks. So we'll have to keep an eye on Paul Irvin because he might be a crucial part into who makes it and who doesn't make it in the playoffs.
And the practice times have winded down. Paul Irvin does end up winning that practice session. We're going to move into qualifying now. And Hunter, I think you could easily say, given this track and what these guys are going to have to deal with tonight, probably the most important qualifying session of the season.
Definitely. Dominic DeLeo, Jeremy Horn, Rick Warder, Carroll. I don't know why I keep saying Dustin Carroll.
It is Dustin Carroll.
Oh, or Nolan Carroll. I get those confused. I don't know why I get that confused, but if you're... Oh, my thing glitched out, sorry. But yeah, if Dustin Carroll also, you gotta bring in your A game in qualifying. And this is really the first time in a while since Pocono, really, that qualifying actually means something, as in not making any mistakes, because we've been to Talladega, you don't really make many mistakes there. Watkins Glen, the track is big enough where if you make a mistake on lap 1, lap 2, you're A-okay. But Charlotte, it's different. So let me just reiterate that it's a 2-lap. Every driver gets 2 laps. If you clip the wall, like we see Nicholas Trader there running the top, if he clips that wall on any of his 2 laps, or both laps, it could happen, that lap will not count and he'll be at the back.
Yeah,
So just something to keep an eye out for.
Any incident point. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, isn't this Nick's first start? Because he's normally a Truck Series driver.
Yeah, this is his first Swift Lifestyle Pro Series start here tonight at Charlotte. He's going to give it a go in that number 23 car. Obviously with his One Mind to Design teammates as well. Then you got Caleb Steimer here in the 18. Got the big win just a couple weeks ago at Talladega to lock in his playoff spot. Makes his life a whole lot easier tonight, Hunter.
Absolutely, he can take this race as slow as he wants to, but
no matter what,
really
he's in.
no matter what he's in. But really, kind of look at this as a practice session, I would look at it as a practice session because 3 of the next 5 races are going to be at tracks similar to this or greater in length. So something to keep in the memory bank here for Caleb Steimer. Moving on.
Yeah, Forrest Smith jumping up to that top spot right now with a 30.72, the number 84. The only driver, as Hunter mentioned in our pre-show, that's locked himself in via points. No wins yet for that number 84 car, as his teammate Nick Trader now goes to the top spot. But he's had an exceptional season and worked his way all the way up into the playoffs on points racing alone. So he's got a pretty easy night here as well. But then you got to look at third place driver who just jumped up on the board, Trevor Williams. He's that guy who's right there on that bubble with Dominic DeLeo.
Yeah, Forrest Smith missed the race this year too, but he's got 6 top 5s and 9 top 10s, which is really nice considering he's only missed 1 race. And that goes for his teammate too. Don't want to discredit anything from Gary Lewis because he's 5th in the point standings without the playoffs. He's also missed a race, but he's got 1 top 5 and 6 top 10s. But One Mind to Design, very consistent, and they've moved themselves up in the team points.
Yeah, One Mind Design now taking over the team points championship lead as well as the season starts to wind down. But how about Jeremy Horn, the number 81? Had to bring his A game, like you said, Hunter. He goes ahead and puts it second on the qualifying charts right now so far. So a great lap there for Jeremy Horn, doing exactly what he needs to do to try to gain those 3 points on Dominic DeLeo for that final spot.
Yeah, we know Dominic DeLeo is a good qualifier. He brings his A game in practice and qualifying, and then the race something seems to go amiss with him. But he just got his first top 5 last week at the Glen, so looking for him to build off that confidence booster heading into Charlotte.
Looks like DeLeo's going to complete his first lap, I believe, that time around. I don't know. Actually, it looks like he's going to start his lap time here for the number 21 car. So we'll have to see exactly where DeLeo ends up placing on the charts, but I'm sure he sees that number 81 in second And you could probably see why Dominic DeLeo is pushing so hard there on his first lap, trying to make sure he doesn't let that 81 get too many positions on him right off the jump.
So we see him working his way through turn 4. Not sure if he clipped the wall there coming out of 2. Didn't really get a good look at it. I was kind of glancing off the screen. Now he's 11th, so that lap did count. A wobbly turn 2 for Dominic DeLeo, but he's going to run the bottom this time around.
A much cleaner exit there off of turn 2 this time around, so it should set up for hopefully a better lap for Dominic DeLeo as he worked down the back straightaway right now in that number 21 car. And he'll be coming out of turn 4 to complete his lap. We're going to jump on board here with Nick Halda. Out of turn 4, though, I do want to say DeLeo is going to cross the stripe. And he is going to jump up slightly in lap time, but not in track position. He's going to remain 12th.
So something we'll keep an eye on between Jeremy Horn and Dominic DeLeo, but kind of an interesting point of view. No, you're not seeing double. You're seeing our point of view on the top right, the bigger picture from Nick Halda in the 87. And then on the bottom left, it's his VR headset. So Nicholas Halda is one of the few drivers that races with a VR headset or virtual reality headset. So you're seeing his head movement live in time there on the bottom left.
And it's a really cool opportunity to show you what these guys are looking at, too, from their perspective, right? So, you know, eventually we'll get to see this thing under green flag conditions, and you'll probably see Nick Halda looking to his left, looking to his right, and trying to find exactly where his competitors are on the racetrack. He's actually going to jump right behind Dominic DeLeo in terms of lap time. He's going to be 15th on the boards after his first lap. Couple of quick cleanup notes here. Eli Green jumps up to 2nd, as well as Travis Beckner jumping up to 3rd on their lap times, respectively. Filling out our front few starters, it looks like here's Paul Irvin, fastest driver in practice. Hunter, what does he have here in qualifying?
Well, currently he's 11th right now. He just went through the grass. I believe that was to complete lap number 2.
Yeah, I think so. I think he went ahead and waved the the forfeit there on his second lap and deciding to stand with his first lap time in the 11th spot, as you mentioned.
Yeah, while we were looking at, as you mentioned, Eli Green jumped up to 2nd. He's also one of the drivers currently in, but not locked in. He's in on points, but needs to have a solid night here because a DNF can happen at any given moment. We saw that last week with Rick Ward. He actually finished last at the Glen, and he's on the outside looking in now.
Yeah, so it's an important race tonight for Rick Ward. And, you know, if it's going to happen, Hunter, he's going to have to figure out a way to make it happen tonight. Lot on the line for a lot of these drivers. And again, want to give a big shout out to everybody tuning in here tonight. I see we got a few subscriptions coming in courtesy of Dustin Carroll gifting some subs down there in chat. And nice sharing some bits too. So appreciate that, Dustin. That helps us a lot. And definitely appreciate your support here tonight and wish you good luck in the race. Also want to give a shout out to America's Auto Auction for sponsoring this regular season finale week, really, that we're going to have all week long on this Twitch channel. You'll see it tonight, the America's Auto Auction regular season finale at Charlotte, and you'll also see it tomorrow night in the Northern Capital Truck Series, as well as Wednesday and Thursday. So make sure you guys are followed and subscribed here on the Twitch channel. And Hunter, we got a lot of action to get to the rest of this week.
Absolutely, and it all starts tonight with the Swift Lifestyle Pro Series. I'm looking through right now. Matthew Robinson hasn't put down a lap yet. JJ Wang, it looks like he's on his first lap now.
And here comes Robinson. Right on cue, Hunter.
Yep. I'm looking, JJ Wang just went to 20th. Let's say. So that was his second lap. No, that was his first lap. Okay. I'm getting confused with my scoring, but it's okay.
Well,
as you mentioned Matthew Robinson.
Yep. I was gonna say you got it. You got Robinson on the track now, as you were alluding to. We were waiting to see when the 40 was going to come out. Obviously, he's been really quick in qualifying here all season long, Hunter.
Yep, he comes across the start-finish line. This is a complete lap number 1. And that 40 car is going to jump up to P2 on the chart, right behind Nicholas Trader. So, automatic front row position for Matthew Robinson, looking to improve to P1.
And he might be able to do it. That was an extremely quick first lap. Obviously, it's going to jump him to 2nd on the board, as you mentioned there, Hunter. So we'll see if he can pick up here on lap 2. Haven't seen anybody really been able to pick up too much time on their second lap. Seems to have fallen off, if anything, a little bit. But I've seen Matthew Robinson do a lot of things here as he crosses the stripe, and looks like he's going to also give up on that lap time. Wasn't like what he was seeing. He's going to have to settle for second place, which I think he'll be okay with starting on the front row here tonight.
Yep, as we see Jordan Hurley in the 0-2. Only 22nd on our chart.
And it looks like maybe he did a little bit of a strategy game on that first lap, Hunter, to set up for his second lap, and it worked to a T. Jordan Hurley is going to go to the top of the charts. I was thinking, like you mentioned, that first lap was really, really slow. I was wondering if he just ran that top to try to build up momentum in that race car and set up for a good lap too. And I think that's exactly what Jordan Hurley decided to do, and it's going to go ahead and steal the pole position. But Hunter, we should have expected this from Jordan Hurley, right? You remember that qualifying streak he was on at the beginning of the year.
Oh yeah, Jordan Hurley is one to keep an eye out for in qualifying. Caught us lacking on our part. He's got 3 poles this year.
Well, make it number 4 as the ticker officially times out here, and we're gonna get set to go racing in the America's Auto Auction regular season finale. We're gonna get you our lineups. Everybody in the chat, let us know who your pick is to go to victory lane here tonight, and we'll have to see if you hit it on the head. Jordan Hurley hit it on the head on his second lap. He's going to start on pole with Nicholas Trader to his outside and row number 1.
Row 2, you're going to find Matthew Robinson starting in 3rd, and then alongside him, Eli Green starting in 4th.
Travis Beckner, last week's winner in the Watkins Glen race, is going to roll off from 5th, and then Jeremy Horn rolling off 6th, just 3 points out of the playoff picture.
Then in row number 4, we're going to find Justin M. Sogok starting in 7th, and alongside him, Sean Corcoran starting in 8th.
Trevor Williams comes in with a 13-point buffer to the playoff cutoff line. He's going to start alongside Adam Capps, rounding out our top 10.
Row number 6, you're going to find Forrest Smith starting in 11th, and alongside him, going to be J.J. Wang in the 00 starting in 12th.
You got Dustin Carroll, the number 92, looking for a win tonight. Pretty much the only way we'll see that 92 in the playoffs is if he goes to victory lane. Paul Irvin, he's going to roll off 14th.
And then in row number 8, we're going to find Gary Lewis in the number 69 starting in 15th, and alongside him, Bobby Tinch in the 66 going to start 16th.
Dominic DeLeo, he's got the last playoff spot right now, but only 3 points ahead of Jeremy Horn. He's going to roll off tonight in the 17th position. The Daytona winner, who's locked into the playoffs, Nick Halda, is going to roll off 18th.
And then row number 10, you're going to find Caleb Steimer, a winner from a couple weeks ago at Talladega, locked in, starting in 19th, and alongside him, Eric Shugart in the 2, starting 20th.
And then our final few starters here tonight for the regular season finale, Mark Patterson, Rick Ward, Rick Christensen back in the number 19, and then Nolan Neiman. Our field of 24 is set, and we are ready to go in the American Auto Auction season finale.
Looks like everyone's getting subs courtesy of One Mind to Design.
Look at that. Appreciate that to everybody over at One Mind to Design. Also, the Team Points Championship leader gifting some subs, so big shout out to those guys. Hunter, who you got tonight?
Oh man, this is an interesting one because there's so many drivers on the outside or not even playoff eligible that could win. I'm gonna go ahead and say that Forrest Smith finally gets it done. He was fast in qualifying before, other drivers went before him, but I think that 84 car is gonna find a way to victory lane.
I'm going to squeeze in before Harold gets his pick, and I'm going to go with a little bit off the wall. I'm going to say the 22 Sean Corcoran goes to victory lane.
Not going to go with a dark horse. I'm going to go with a good number. The number 40, Matthew Robinson, plays the spoiler tonight, preventing anybody else from getting into a lock.
And those are our picks with the pace truck pulling in. The last race of the regular season is underway, led by Jordan Hurley in the 0-2.
Hurley gets a good jump. He's going to bring Matthew Robinson along with him, top 2 positions. Clear in single file as they enter turn 1. It's a side-by-side battle for third between Travis Beckner and Nick Trader.
Yep, field spreading out for the majority, but still single file, led the way by Jordan Hurley.
Yeah, Robinson with a good start, not letting Jordan Hurley just do it on his own. He followed suit. and he is closing on the race leader, Jordan Hurley, as they complete lap number 1, give it to the 0-2. Robinson, though, looking for the race lead as they head down into turn 1.
Yeah, Robinson not giving up just yet. Looking like he's got a better exit coming off of 2, although it was higher. He might have clipped the wall, but it looks like he's still hanging in.
We got Robinson and Hurley, our front 2 drivers now, as Travis Beckner has moved into that 3rd spot. Eli Green rounding out the top 5 positions. Real battle on the playoff bubble now between Jeremy Horn. He's running 6th. And right now, if this race were to end, I know it's early, but he would be in the playoffs with that final spot. Can be on Dom DeLeo to try to make up those positions he gave up in qualifying. Right now, he's running 16th. Hurley, though, continuing to show the way over Matthew Robinson as these guys are 1 and 2 around the racetrack, following nose to tail.
Say, Dominic DeLeo was in the booth with me last Thursday night at the Glen, and he said he was running in around the 9th or 10th position, just, running his race, and then drivers just started having issues in front of him. And one by one, he picked them up, and that's basically how he got a top 5. So, hoping for something similar is Dominic DeLeo, and drivers just falling out one by one.
Yeah, and Jeremy Horn, looking at him right now in that 6th spot, he's in a good spot. He's all by himself, really. He doesn't have anybody too close to him. You see Eli Green looking to make a move down low for 4th right now, as these guys are kind of breaking away this top 5 with Jordan Hurley, Matthew Robinson, Travis Beckner, and Nick Trader, who's actually just got passed by the 28 of Eli Green. The 28's going to go low coming into turn 1. He's going to clear him for that position and round out our top 5.
Boy, Matthew Robinson, he's right on the bumper of Jordan Hurley, our leader. Now Eli Green looking to go up to 3rd, looking on the inside of, I believe that's 45. Contact! Beckner in the wall! Travis Beckner in the wall. Eli Green was making a move to go to 3rd. They collided in the middle of 3 and 4, and that put the 45 in the wall. So far, so good. No caution is yet to come out, although the 45 has lost a bunch of spots.
They just squeezed by him 3 wide, and it was the playoff bubble drivers of Trevor Williams and Dustin Carroll coming off of turn 2. The number 1 had a real sketchy moment trying to find his way around the 45 there. Able to do it. Everybody's kind of settled out now as Jordan Hurley continues to show the way.
Eli Green looking like he might make this a 3-car battle. Robinson backed off big time there in the middle of 1 and 2, so now more marginable gap now for Jordan Hurley, trying to pull away.
You wonder if Robinson is just baiting his time now, with no real need to challenge this early in the race with 103 laps left.
Yeah, it's still well over 100 laps left, and we didn't touch on the fuel, so we're looking at the fuel window to go anywhere from 44 to 47 laps. And in the next handful of laps or so, we will start to see some of those fade and some of those charge through the field.
Dominic DeLeo just had that number 45 car of Travis Beckner hit pit road right in front of him coming through turn 4. And it was a sketchy moment between him and J.J. Wang trying to avoid that, as Beckner had to slow up to make his way into his pit box. He does so now, and it's going to allow the rest of these guys to keep on rolling around the racetrack. But Hunter, it was actually a call to pit lane via iRacing. The damage on that 45 car, they gave him what's called a meatball flag, which means you have to come down pit lane and have required repairs done to that race car.
So interesting to see if he will take the repairs or if he will just disconnect.
Yeah, well, he's sitting on pit lane now. I believe, knowing Travis, he's going to try to hang in there and see what he can make of this race right now. But it seems to be a 3-car show at the front of the field still.
Say he almost won at Talladega, but Caleb Steimer used the double yellow line rule to his advantage and made the pass for the win. But Travis Beckner bounced back the next week, which was last Monday night at the Glen, holding off James Shanewolf in a very tight battle, and then those two continued that battle into Tuesday night's Northern Capital Truck Series.
The whole field's still working around this racetrack. Not a lot of changes yet to any of our running positions. Hunter, since the drop of this green flag, I don't think Matthew Robinson's been further than 2/10 behind Jordan Hurley.
No. He's keeping the pedal to the metal, and he is He is on that bumper of the O2, just waiting for him to make a mistake. I believe that's what he's doing, trying to bait him into overdriving one of these corners or getting loose and then making a move down on the bottom.
Well, when we had our buddy James Shanewood in these races, he wasn't able to make it tonight, but he's locked into the playoffs. You see this a lot between those two drivers, with Shanewood being the guy who's out front leading, and then Robinson really taking advantage once the tires fall off on his race car. Do we see the same thing with Jordan Hurley? I'm wondering if Matthew Robinson's just being patient, saving his stuff up, and trying to make Jordan Hurley maybe use his stuff up.
Robinson can't be making a mistake either, because he's got Eli Green not too far behind him.
And obviously, need to mention this because we have not yet. Matthew Robinson, with his start tonight, is officially the regular season champion here in the Swift Lifestyle Pro Series. A lot of bonus points for that number 40 car next week when we start the playoffs. He'll be in really good shape.
Yeah, that 40 car looking like he'll be tough to beat come playoff time.
It's still right on the back bumper of Jordan Hurley. Obviously, two great looking paint schemes as well, with the black and pink car of Jordan Hurley and the red and black car of Matthew Robinson. So a good paint scheme showcase out the front. Eli Green seems to have fallen off a little bit. Looks like we're going to look back here with our playoff bubble driver, Jeremy Horn, racing with Sean Corcoran, as well as the 84 Forrest Smith.
And so this is position 7th, 8th, and 9th, and Forrest Smith trying to get around Jeremy Horn on the outside. One of the few drivers working that top groove early. He's going to get a massive run here off the corner. This is the battle for the 8th spot, as it looks like Horn is going to take the top away. Move back down to the middle, but Forrest Smith trying to do his best Kyle Larson impersonation, run the cushion.
Well, if you look just a few spots behind the 81 is where you're going to find the 21 of Dominic DeLeo, who's done exactly what he had to do, Hunter. He started 17th, and I feared for a moment he gave up too much track position to the 81, but he's been working hard to make it up. He's already up to 12th. He's got to stay within 3 spots of that 81 if he wants the final playoff position.
And he's committed. We're early on, but that 21 car looking sharp.
Making another pass there as we head down into turn 3. There you see the 69 of Gary Lewis racing alongside the 00 of JJ Wang. JJ Wang right now also in a playoff spot. Really close racing there.
Looks like that was Nolan Neiman.
Yeah, I believe that's Nolan Neiman there in the 15 in that black and light blue car on the outside there.
Yeah, close stuff there, but Dominic DeLeo now 1 spot outside the top 10.
And he's within that range he needs to be. He's exactly within 3 positions of the 81 of Jeremy Horn, and given no incident points and no bonus points being awarded for laps led at the moment, that would put DeLeo into the playoffs if it were to start right now. So I feel like I'll be a broken record tonight talking about playoff racing a lot, Hunter, but tonight's the night.
It is the night for these drivers to focus up and not make any mistakes. And so far, we're seeing just that, and especially from Dominic DeLeo.
The only mistake we really have seen all night long was the contact between the 28 of Eli Green and the 45 of Travis Beckner. Eli Green actually just lost that position to Nick Trader for 3rd, but other than that contact, it's pretty much been a clean race to this point. Obviously, early on, lap 18 of 110, so a lot can happen now, and about halfway through our fuel run, maybe a little less than that, so.
Yep, just something to keep your eye peeled on.
Notice Matthew Robinson has actually dropped a little bit off of Jordan Hurley as opposed to what we saw earlier. You got the battle here between the 22 there. We saw Sean Corcoran racing with Paul Urban, but there you see Matthew Robinson dropped off a little bit from where he was running initially behind Jordan Hurley, was on that back bumper of that race car for much of the early parts of this run, and it's kind of fallen off a little bit. Now Paul Urban's going to lose that position to Sean Corcoran. Sean already up now to the 6th spot, and he actually started 8th, so he's up a few positions early on in this race. Got a long way to go here for the 22 car to end up in victory lane. Again, though, the 22, one of those guys who's looking like he's pretty much locked into the playoffs after tonight.
Yeah, very well. He might just take it easy. I mean, everyone wants to win, but you don't want to ruin your chances of making the playoffs, because once the playoffs start, anything can happen. We saw that in 2014 when there were the round of such and such playoffs. Like the contender round or the challenger round. I missed those names, but it was the first year we saw that happen. And Ryan Newman almost won the championship without winning any races, although he would have had to win the race to win the championship. So that would have been his first win on the year. point is, any one of these drivers can be locked in and make that playoff run to the championship.
Yeah, it's like you said, it's going to reset, once we get to that playoffs for the most part. A few bonus points awarded here and there for wins and regular season finishing position as far as standings go. But it's a real good opportunity for drivers that, kind of started the season behind to get more on an equal playing field with somebody like a Matthew Robinson who has such a big points lead in the regular season standings. He's only going to have, well, let's see, he's got, I believe, 2 wins for Robinson. So that's 3 bonus points each. So that'll give him 6 bonus points there and then 15. So only come into the playoffs with 21 playoff points. I feel like I'm spitting out a lot of information at you, but yeah, it's going to basically reset these guys and make this field a lot closer. Oh, Steimer in the wall going into turn 1.
Caleb Steimer in the wall. That was Gary Lewis passing for the 17th position.
There's Beckner back out on the racetrack. He is 24th. He scored 9 laps down, though, currently. He's going to have a pretty insurmountable way to get his race back. I don't even know if that was a real word I just used there. I tried to do something, and I don't know if it worked. But Beckner, nonetheless, 9 laps down. It's going to be hard for him to get back into the race-winning mode he was in early on here. DeLeo, we saw him drive up to 11th and then fall back outside the top 12 again. Right now, he's battling with the 92 of Dustin Carroll still for that 11th spot. So a little bit up and down so far for Dominic DeLeo as Jeremy Horn's sitting steady in that 8th spot.
Yeah, Dominic DeLeo looking to make a move. Meanwhile, the battle goes on up ahead between the driver he's got to finish in front of, or within 3 points of. Battle is heating up between Jeremy Horn, Trevor Williams, and then Forrest Smith. 3 wide in the middle of 1 and 2. Smith up top, Horn in the middle, and Williams on the bottom.
Those drivers make it work, too. With Forrest Smith, he was so high up against the wall, I thought he might hit it. There's still 3 wide going down into turn 3. It looks like they're finally going to settle out. But right there, that's a huge swing for Jeremy Horn. He just gave up 2 points right there alone on that pass. And as we say that, DeLeo is also going to try to get around the 92. So a really big swing for our playoff drivers.
Now it looks like Forrest Smith is going to try and fend off that position from Trevor Williams as Horn has settled in behind the 1.
And it's kind of creating a logjam here from that 3 wide move. They're starting to stack up a little bit behind him.
There's Rick Christensen inside of the 21 of DeLeo. Good bit of battling going on between this kind of pack racing.
But you mentioned with Forrest, he was up high. One of the only drivers we've really seen use that line, and he's staying up there even when he's not 3 wide. He seems to prefer running the top side of the racetrack tonight. Wondering if maybe he found something up there because no other driver seems to really be running the top other than him.
Well, now we got Dominic DeLeo running the top.
Running the top line.
Back to the bottom.
Running the top line probably could serve tires.
Very well could. And not to mention, you get a massive run coming out of the corners. Although the 1 of Williams sticking to it on the bottom.
DeLeo just had to let by the 45 of Beckner, who's that driver that we documented that had to come down pit road and is 9 laps down, but he is on fresh tires compared to these guys who are out here on 27-lap old tires. So really quick right now for the 45 of Beckner. He's working his way through the lead lap cars. So a little bit opposite of what you normally see as he slides it up in there in turn 3. The lap car being quicker than the lead lap cars.
Almost thought we might see a 3 wide with the lap car, but it looks like Beckner's just going to ride the bottom all the way around. This could put the 1 of Williams in an uncomfortable position as now he's got to run the middle. Forrest Smith going to get him back on the outside.
And this is important for Trevor Williams, too. He cannot afford a mistake.
Oh, there he is in the wall. Forrest Smith right in front of our 2 playoff bubble drivers, Jeremy Horn
all 3
and
of them.
Dominic DeLeo. That's the last thing those 2 needed to see.
Oh, and they got contact still again between the 84 and the 81. Horn gave him a bump in the rear bumper there in the middle of 3 and 4, so it wasn't over with. But yeah, Hunter, you got to throw the number 1 of Trevor Williams in that mix as well. He's only 13 to the cutoff line on the plus side of things. So really, none of these 3 drivers can afford anything to happen. But with that, now DeLeo moves in front of the 81 for that all-important final playoff spot.
It is tight between these 5 cars.
And we still got 80-something laps to go.
Oh, absolutely. It's only going to get better and better as the night rolls on.
Man, that move with Forrest Smith running the top, I was wondering if it was going to backfire on him, and we saw him just barely get up a little bit too high and into the outside wall. Now 3-wide move.
3-wide, tight 3-wide there. Yeah,
Oh,
Christensen
man.
almost getting clipped on the bottom by Carroll.
We know that 19 car has got some speed once he starts getting in a rhythm. Obviously, having to start from the back tonight, he's already made his way up to the 11th spot.
Smith's in the wall again.
Oh, Smith's in the wall heavy this time. He's going to have to hold it just to avoid pulling down into some oncoming traffic of our playoff bubble drivers. He does so very professionally and respectfully there by the 84 Forrest Smith to keep that thing up on the wall and avoid making a really big incident for a lot of those guys.
I don't see any of your picks doing that. Only my pick can do that.
Nolan Neiman has disconnected.
We lost the 15. It looks like he's going to pull it into the garage, and he's done for the night. Still no change up front. That's why we're really focusing on this battle. It's Hurley with a second advantage over Matthew Robinson, and then Nicholas Trader running third. There you see the remainder of our top five with Eli Green in fifth and Paul Irvin running sixth. Or excuse me, Eli Green sixth, Paul Irvin running seventh. So the back half of our top 10 is starting with this move right here by Paul Irvin.
Yeah, meanwhile, the gap between Jordan Hurley and Matthew Robinson has gone over just a second. So Matthew Robinson laying off some of the pace that we saw very early on.
Nice. Sean Cochran just passed Justin Anasogak for the fourth spot.
It looks like Travis Beckner has also made his way all the way up now to Eli Green, who was actually the driver that put him, or I don't want to say put him in the wall, but where the contact initially happened was between these two drivers. So I'm sure no love lost from Travis Beckner towards that 28 car, as he's going to be able to drive right around him and clear him on the fresh tires. But Eli Green, we saw him all the way up to third, Hunter. He's dropped back to seventh. I wonder if the tires are going away for him.
I would assume so, because very early on it looked like it would be a 3-car battle for the lead between him, Hurley, and Matthew Robinson, and he's fallen off quite a bit compared to the front two.
You see DeLeo now running behind Rick Christensen, so plus another position for the 19. It's actually going to dive back underneath him going into 3, but Christensen still rolling around the top side of this racetrack now. He started 23rd on the grid. He's up to 9th in just 35 laps.
He might make a case for possibly winning the race.
Yeah, I think
this goes on.
I think you're right. I think if he gets a timely caution flag and he's able to really reset, obviously starting 23rd, you give up so much track position from the jump. But I mean, at this point now, if he were able to catch a caution, he would be restarting well within the top 10. So potentially some race winning speed behind that number 19.
And then the next handful of laps or so, we're going to see drivers come down pit road to make their first pit stops under green, pending any late, I shouldn't say late
Well,
cautions,
you're right on cue.
yeah, right on cue. Paul Irvin going to make his first pit stop. I'll say, pending on any cautions happen right before the field comes in.
And Paul was actually running in that 6th spot in front of Eli Green. So that is a top 10 driver we see hitting pit road. Jordan Hurley's still showing the way. Nobody else seems like they're ready to come down just yet, but Paul Irvin is in with a 4-tire and full fuel pit stop for that number 4. He's away and out of pit road.
You know, looking at this here, it looks like he's trying to divide us in thirds. He's trying to quarter that up.
I was just going to ask that. Because I know, Harold, you like to bring in drivers splitting into quarters or thirds. I was wondering if that's what we were seeing, but
he's trying to make it even.
What we're seeing. And
yeah.
We got other drivers in. It's going to be the 40 of Matthew Robinson hitting pit lane. I believe the 21 here of Dominic DeLeo is also coming down, and he's bringing some friends with him. Trevor Williams is in just ahead of him. The 87 of Nick Halda is in. He had to catch it there going down. It looks like he got a little wobbly there, as well as Forrest Smith. So pit road is getting busy, Hunter.
I expect Forrest Smith to be in there for quite a bit, because he did make significant contact with the wall and did not get off of that wall.
Yeah, but he might not want to fix that damage right now. You would hope it's optional if you're somebody in Forrest Smith's position. You hope for optional damage so you're not forced to sit there, but it's going to be a 4-tire stop nonetheless. We see Eli Green, the number 28 car, now hitting pit road. Jordan Hurley, the race leader, still has not yet came down, as well as Nicholas Trader, Sean Corcoran, and Justin Anasoga.
Looking at the right side of his car, I don't see a lot of damage for the amount of contact he made with that wall.
Yeah, I agree. I think he got off a little lucky there as well, and not a ton of damage on that race car. We see the 18 now of Caleb Steimer's in. He looks like the 19 of Rick Christensen in as well. But still kind of waiting on our race leader of Jordan Hurley in that number 02 to be the one car to hit pit lane. You got the 22 now of Sean Corcoran in, so it's getting really busy. Probably
crew members on Caleb Steimer's pit look busy in their conversation.
You really
we're seeing
only
more
have
drivers come down pit road.
Yeah, you really have less drivers that have yet to pit than you have that have already pitted. Now Jordan Hurley finally comes down in the 0-2. That's going to hand the lead over to Nicholas Trader for a lap or so as he stays out on the racetrack.
Not that it matters, but every lap led is a bonus point.
Well, I would watch the difference we're going to see here now, because Jordan Hurley had about a second advantage over Matthew Robinson before the green flag pit stops began. With Robinson pitting so many laps before Jordan Hurley, I'm curious to see what that margin looks like, and if Robinson was able to jump over Hurley and take that lead back. So we'll have to see where Jordan Hurley is when he comes out and where that compares to the 40 of Matthew Robinson. There you see Robinson on track in a mix of a bunch of lap cars, or lead lap cars actually, I believe, that have not yet pitted, such as Justin Anasoga.
Yeah, a good bit of cars here as we're seeing now Adam Capps come down the pit road.
And there you see Jordan Hurley on the bottom of turn 2 here on the apron, and you see Matthew Robinson already in our shot, so that's going to be the race for the lead, and it's literally going to be nose to tail. Yeah, it's extremely close between both those drivers. Hurley on the fresh tire is going to use that bottom lane to his advantage, but he's got Robinson right on the back bumper. But honestly, for Jordan Hurley, that's a huge break to be able to come out in front of Matthew Robinson, even though you pitted 4 laps after.
Now it looks like we just took the green flag all over again with Robinson off the bumper of Hurley.
And we still got Nicholas Trader, the 23, who has not yet came down pit lane, as well as Justin Anasoga. There you see Nick. That is our race leader currently. Got 4 drivers, I believe, yet to make their pit stop, Hunter.
And that would be the top 4.
Oh, Jeremy Horn, one of the drivers who has not yet came down pit lane. Kind of surprising strategy call for that 81. I guess he's trying to catch a caution. He's actually coming in now. But that is going to cost him a ton of track position.
He almost spun out. He almost spun out trying to slow the car down. Honestly, it doesn't surprise me, because that tells me that obviously if he can go 44 laps here, he'll go another 44, make that lap 88. And we've seen the difference early with Travis Beckner coming down pit road, not on his own choosing or his own decision, but actually it was on iRace's decision. But anyway, we've seen lap cars with fresher tires just fly through the field. We saw Beckner. We were working our way from the back to the front in lead lap battles. He was working his way on the bottom, and he had 20 laps fresher tires on it. So I'm looking at Jeremy Horn doing that decision making, and he might think this goes green to the end.
Well, look at the position that the 40 is stayed in with Matthew Robinson compared to what will eventually be race leader Jordan Hurley. As you see Nick Trader finally hitting pit lane there as well. I had thought with the amount of laps difference on their tires that once Jordan Hurley did get out of pit lane, he would just start driving right away from Matthew Robinson. That has not been the case.
No, they are still nose and tail. So we saw, looks like Hurley faded away there quite a bit, or he blinked in and out. Gary Lewis is still your leader with Trader and Anasoga now on pit road.
It's giving us a good picture, too, on fuel, exactly how long these drivers can go. Lewis is coming in now on lap 46, so I believe that's going to be the limit for these guys tonight in terms of the most amount of laps they can make on fuel. Gary Lewis, thanks for showing us exactly a good example of that, as now he's hitting pit lane and is going to hand the lead right back over to Jordan Hurley and Matthew Robinson, who have really set themselves apart so far.
So you're looking at One Mind Design bonus point, hashtag playoff picture for Gary Lewis. Is it still nose and tail between the front 2 of Jordan Hurley and Matthew Robinson? Then you got to go back to third. Paul Irvin. He's about 2.5 seconds back or so, but he's in third. Then we got Eli Green and Trevor Williams, and then Dominic DeLeo in the sixth position. So, good bit of drivers that pitted early that are now running inside the top 5 and top 10.
Yeah, really a net positive there for DeLeo. Just a solid pit stop, was able to get on and off pit road quickly, and he's going to come out all the way now in the sixth position, back in front of Rick Christensen. So really a good call there on DeLeo's part. On the flip side of things, you had Jeremy Horn, that driver who stayed out longer than almost everybody besides Gary Lewis, and because of that, you see Jeremy Horn, who was running well inside the top 12, now scored all the way back outside the top 15.
Yeah, but this really benefited Paul Irvin because he was the first one to come down pit road on lap 37. And you mentioned he was running about 6th or 7th, and he's moved up to 3rd from that decision-making on pitting.
The flip side of that is you just got to wonder how much is it going to cost him on the back end of this run with tire wear, because a lot of times these guys who pit early, obviously their tires will fall off a lot sooner than those who have stayed out. So we'll have to see where he winds up. Looks like he almost might have slapped the wall there coming out of turn 4, and he's going to give up a lot of time here to Mark Patterson, one of our lap cars here in that 51, as well as Gary Lewis, who is racing to get his lap back, and so is Caleb Steimer. It's actually a pack of lap cars right now, Hunter, that are racing for the lucky dog. And
There's always a battle within the race.
Exactly. 3 cars on top of each other racing for the lucky dog. Things kind of started to settle out now as we've completed our first round of green flag pit stops. You're watching Sean Corcoran on your screen right now, one of the guys who's looking like he's going to go ahead and easily coast into the playoffs here tonight in the Swift Lifestyle Pro Series. He is currently scored in the 9th spot right behind Nicholas Halda, the 87 car. Nick Trader, man, he's all the way back in the 10th spot, Hunter. He was running P3 for the majority of that run, but that pit strategy to stay out cost him a lot of track position.
Indeed it did, but hey, a caution could come out and it could change everything, and then everyone's strategy is out the window. Then you got to come up on the spot with new strategy. All right, well, if I pit, do I do 2? Do I do 4? Do I do right sides, left sides? You know, caution could throw a monkey wrench into everything going on.
I think a lot of these drivers are, like you said, when you talked about it with Harold a little bit there, I think they're really just planning for the 2-stop race, but if the caution did come out right now, obviously they wouldn't be able to make it all the way to the end on fuel. So, you know, probably another 20 laps or so. Once we get around lap 70, 75, I would assume we'd see a bunch of drivers decide to come down pit lane and take their final scheduled stop of the night as long as it remains under green. But then you got to remember, these drivers have 3 sets of tires in the pit. So with a 2-stop race like tonight, they'll have that extra set left over in case we get a late race yellow.
Yeah, there can always be the possibility of a late race yellow. So those that save their tires, they'd be in quite the position if that were the case.
You see Trevor Williams, Dominic DeLeo. We thought coming into this race tonight, this would be the battle for the final playoff spot. But with the absence of Brian Dixon, it's actually allowed both these drivers to work their way into the playoffs. So right now, for the moment, you got DeLeo in that final 12th spot with Trevor Williams in that 11th spot. First car out is going to be the number 81 of Jeremy Horn as they currently run. But Horn, to his credit, has gained back a few positions already since he's came down pit lane.
That is the one benefit of staying out the longest. You have the fresher tires, and it looks like we're starting to see that with Jeremy Horn.
Question's just going to be how much of that track position can he gain back, because he lost well over 10 seconds to Dominic DeLeo in company when he came down pit lane. So you just got to wonder if he can make that back up on the the stretch of the long run towards the back half of it. So we'll see what the times look like for Jeremy Horn. But right now, still no change out front. Jordan Hurley with a second advantage over Matthew Robinson, exactly where they were our first green flag run. Paul Irvin, Eli Green, and Trevor Williams rounding out our top 5.
Jake, I want to know more than the top 5, so I'm going to go ahead and give us our halfway rundown presented by Swift Lifestyles. Fans, be sure to visit our sponsor, Swift Lifestyles, for clean supplements to help improve your focus and gaming. Use the discount code on your screen, AREA iRacing, AREA iRacing, for 15% off your entire order. We would like to give a big thanks to Swift Lifestyles for their support of the Swift Lifestyle Pro Series. Now let's go ahead and get it. Jordan Hurley has dominated this race, although The only times where he hasn't led were for green flag pit stops. But other than that, he is the car to beat. And it looks like he's built quite a bit of a gap between him and the 40 of Matthew Robinson running in second. Robinson's been second fiddle. So it looks like he's got Gary Lewis in front of him. But still keep an eye on Robinson because anything can happen, and you never count out the 40 of Matthew Robinson.
Not at all. You got Paul Irvin running third right now. Hunter mentioned it. The idea to come down early on that round of green flag pit stops really netted him a lot of track position now as he's trying to hold off the lap car of Mark Patterson right behind him. But a solid pit call there on the number 4 has got him up to the third spot. Then right behind him, Eli Green, our fourth place driver, who we saw as high up as third and as far back as ninth on that last green flag run. So really up and down so far for Eli Green. We saw a little bit of contact early on in the race between him and Travis Beckner. Right now, though, he's running well within that top 5.
And also in the top 5 is Nicholas Trader. He's a Truck Series regular that you can catch tomorrow night. The Northern Capital Truck Series will be at this the same track, so this is kind of like a practice session for him. He's really had a quiet night, to say the least, to say the most. He's been inside the top 10 for the majority of the night, and right now he finds himself 5th, looking to continue on with that good run. And right behind him, the driver that's barely in due to Brian Dixon not being here tonight, it's Trevor Williams. He's been in quite a few situations where it could have went bad, although it did not, and the one car is still running P6 on the racetrack.
And right behind him, you got the 19er Rick Christensen all the way from the 23rd starting spot on the grid. Rick seems like he's got a lot of speed building up that number 19. I think the more laps he gets under his belt tonight, we might see that number 19 competing for the win when the checkered flag falls. And then right behind him, the 21 car of Dominic DeLeo. He was the first guy out coming into tonight in terms of the playoffs. Well, right now, he's the last driver in. He's got the 12th and final playoff spot. Can he hold on to it as he got passed right there on our screen by Justin Anisogok in the 88? So swap him back up to the 8th spot. 88 of Justin Anisogok, not much to talk about here tonight. He's been around the top 10 for a majority of this race, and he just moved into 8th.
Yeah, we call him the Eskimo. Won his first race at Darlington, and that's how Jake learned to pronounce his name. Now we move back to Sean Corcoran. Yeah, still struggle every now and then. Every now and then we see Sean Corcoran struggle, but he is not struggling tonight. He's currently inside the top 10. He's been inside the top 10 for the majority of the night. At one point he was, I believe, in the 5th position, but nonetheless, it's a solid night for Sean Corcoran in the Samson Motorsports number 22. And that is your rundown presented by Swift Lifestyles.
That's a great look at our top 10. Sean, especially one of the drivers I thought would honestly have a chance to win this thing with the long green flag runs we're seeing. Hasn't played out to his advantage yet, but I wouldn't count out that number 22. Halfway through this race, Hunter, no caution flag so far, man.
No cautions. Then we've had a few races, not only in the Swift Lifestyle Pro Series, but for the league Thursday night, the Cup Series, the Sim Speed Shop Cup Series, where it's gone caution-free. So this would be nothing new to us, but wouldn't surprise me if it did go caution-free.
Yeah, Jordan Hurley there really having to hold off the lap car of Gary Lewis, who stayed out on that last green flag run and really benefited from this fresh tires that he's got right now under that 69 car. He's going to try to race his way back onto the lead lap the hard way, but Jordan Hurley, man, really putting up a fight with him. These two have been struggling for about 4 or 5 laps now.
We move back here, battle between Eli Green, and it looks like that is Nicholas Trader. And then right in front of them, Paul Irvin. So really, this is the battle for third. And then we got Justin Anisogok. He passed Dominic DeLeo. Now he passed the one of Williams. So you see this battle continue to go on, and the cars are turning white, and then they're coming back. And that's how Nicholas Trader passed Paul Irvin, who turned his car white, and now Paul Irvin's car stuck in white. Well, as soon as I say that, comes back out.
Yeah,
playing mind games with us.
No, that's just Training Paints doing its update for some reason. So nothing mysterious going on there, Hunter. Just the typical iRacing bug that's getting worked out for some reason. But you mentioned it. Go ahead.
The reason that is we were told in Twitch that Nicholas Trader had the contingency paint, so I had to go back and double check and refresh his paint. Which he does.
I saw him on my end anyway, so I wasn't worried about it. And our admin, Brad Slaughter, up there tonight, obviously saw them as well. So
Well, there
no
they
issues
are.
for the 23. But yeah, you got the contingency decals there on the side now with the Swift Lifestyle Pro Series logo. Gary Lewis finally gets around the number 02 of Jordan Hurley, and a little bit of an interesting quote from the Radio Hunter. He said he was racing the 69 like that because Hunter jumped in and out of the broadcast booth.
Yeah, it's just lagging a little bit on my end.
No, you're all good. I was going to mention there with Jordan Hurley, he actually had mentioned to Gary Lewis directly on the radio. He said, "Hey, man, I'm sorry I was racing you so hard there. I haven't had anybody to race with all night." So,
You know, it got to the point where you started sounding like a robot, and I was like, okay, we got to fix this.
man, you were probably really confused with the paint schemes update and me sounding like a robot. Thought the end of the world was coming up.
Well, technically, I was right about the mind games. It just wasn't the driver. It was our executive producer, Harold Darner, giving that to us. It looked cool, though, because as soon as his car went white, he passed Paul Irvin and then reappeared.
Well, right now, Jordan Hurley has probably his largest lead of the night, over 4.5 seconds to Matthew Robinson. So he's really putting these lap times down in a hurry. I don't know if anybody's going to have anything for that 02 at this point, man. He's looking pretty quick.
Guess you could say he's putting those lap times down in a Hurley. Ha 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 ha. Funny joke.
Yeah, that's a good one, man. It's real funny. Let's try to go back to Matthew Robinson or something so we can get Hunter off this 02 because, oh, man, I don't know if I can do another one of those jokes.
Well, it's safe to say Hurley's got the most laps led, but don't know if there's anything for most laps running second, but if there was something, it would go to Matthew Robinson.
And he's got no laps led either because of his pit strategy, so not that he's worried about bonus points. He's already clinched that regular season championship after tonight, so congrats to the 40 team on that, but obviously he's looking to add another win to the playoff point bucket for the number 40 car. Right now, though, you got Justin Anasogok, our final driver inside the top 5. Actually, he's running 6th right now, just behind our top 5 driver of Eli Green. So potentially a pass coming up there between these two drivers. And Justin's really done it from coming back from the early race run-in. We saw him outside the top 10. Got some speed back in that race car. Pit strategy has led him all the way back up to this top 5 potentially now for the 88 car.
Yeah, don't count out the Eskimo, Justin Anasogok. He could come in and just snatch those 2 spots in front of him and then being on charge to the front, as it looks like Paul Irvin's down on pit road.
There we go. Right around a little early, actually, than I was thinking. I didn't think we'd see him come in this early, but lap 71, he's down and in his pit box, so we'll have to see how that plays out for Paul. I don't think we'll see anybody else coming down pit road for quite a while.
I'm looking at it fuel-wise because him pitting the first time told me he would pit at 70 and then would try and stretch it to the finish. That would put him at 40 laps. And we saw the maximum amount we see anyone go, I believe, was Gary Lewis, and he went 43 laps.
Went 46 laps, actually, for Gary Lewis. So well
46.
within range. Yeah, well within range for the number 4 of Paul Urban to be able to stretch it to the end. From here, we actually have the 28 car of Eli Green also on pit lane now. He's in his 4th pit box here on pit lane. It's gonna be 4 tires and fuel for the number 28 car, and he's gonna be off and away. Still nobody else hitting pit lane, and I don't expect to see anybody else for another few laps here. But who knows?
But who knows? We are in a window now where anyone else that would come down pit road would be good to go the rest of the way on fuel, but just depends on when you pit, and then we could see a late race yellow for those that pit early, like Paul Irvin, and he could have a set of tires to restart with.
Yep. Well, I think right now, as you see there, the 28 of Eli Green, I'm starting to think these guys are just in a hurry to get the playoffs started. I mean, we're running through this race in pretty quick order. Obviously, Jordan Hurley, our leader, who's putting the lap times down, as you said, in a hurry. He's getting this race over with. Eli Green makes a 3-wide move, by the way, on the front stretch there around some lap traffic. That was kind of crazy, but I think these guys are just excited to jump to the playoffs, man. They don't want to waste no time tonight.
No, not at all. And especially for those like Jordan Hurley. He was playoff eligible at one point, had a suspension.
That
made him not playoff eligible.
Trevor Williams
coming down the road.
Yeah, it's the 20 of Trevor Williams, and as soon as he said he's coming down...
Whoa.
Oh.
A pass. A pass on pit road. The one of Williams passing the 88 of Anasoga.
No, that's the 51 there, Patterson, actually,
That's
the
the
lap car.
51.
Very
Oh,
similar with
okay.
the yellow looking schemes, the yellow and black schemes there. But yeah, that's the lap car of Mark Patterson. But as soon as the one of Trevor Williams said he's hitting pit road, Dominic DeLeo queued up and said he also is coming in. So I believe he's just trying to stay well within range of the number one and doesn't want to let him get too far away from him. So playoff strategy move there for the 21 of Dominic DeLeo. And we'll see how it pays off for him, as well as the 81 of Jeremy Horn, who is actually 2 laps down there, Hunter. So we might have missed something on Jeremy Horn. I don't believe he made his second pit stop yet, but maybe I missed that.
I can look.
Horn
through
has
right-
made his second pit stop.
Oh, all right.
He is on his lap 7. Of
Wow.
His,
So just an interesting call there to stay out on that first green flag run and then pit so quickly on the second green flag run. Really is going to put that number 81 in even a bigger hole than he was in. He was 2 laps down. You saw him just now get around the 02 of Jordan Hurley to go back down 1 lap. But that's an interesting call there on the 81 team.
Yeah, very interesting. Not sure what was going on there, but it looks like he might have dug himself in a hole, and he's got to find a way to get out of it.
We'll see if it pans out for him. Few drivers now coming back out onto the racetrack, such as the 1 of Trevor Williams and the 21 of Dominic DeLeo. Clean and quick pit stops for those drivers. Forrest Smith as well in the 84 hitting back onto the racetrack after his pit stop. So, like you said, Hunter, these guys are good to go after this pit stop. And now here comes Matthew Robinson.
Yep, Robinson was second on the track, making his pit stop now. So there's Justin Anasogok. Or is that not him still?
Now, that's Mark Patterson still in the yellow. So Anna Sogok's paint scheme's got a lot more of a black base to it. Mark Patterson there's got that yellow base. So there's the 88 of Justin Anna Sogok. So he's got that black hood, that black base with just the yellow on top.
Yeah. Black and yellow all looks the same to me.
and it's got audible on the front.
So he just called, actually, the 88 did that. He's going to be hitting pit lane, as you saw the 28 of Eli Green squeeze right around him. So move Eli Green. I don't think he has made his pit stop. Oh, no, he has. So Eli Green also is one of the drivers who has came down pit lane, and as well as the 88 now is in. The 45 now is in. So long green flag run, and we're in our second round of green flag pit stops.
Leaves Hurley is the last driver to come down pit lane.
There he is.
Now we'll see how this shaped out, because the first time down, Jordan Hurley came right in front of the field, or I shouldn't say in front of the field, in front of a pack of cars that had Matthew Robinson in it, and was very close there. Really interesting to see how this one turns out.
There you see the 92 of Dustin Carroll. So the 92 situation coming into tonight was a long shot. He was over 20 points out of the playoff bubble after the 33 of Brian Dixon not able to make it tonight. So still really a must-win situation for the 92 of Dustin Carroll. So he stayed out right now. I'm wondering what he's thinking, probably just hoping for a yellow flag for his sake.
Yeah, so I'm looking at it. Carroll, Lewis, J.J. Wang, and Adam Capps have yet to pit.
So definitely the 92 hoping and praying for a caution flag to come out so that he's
J.J.
able to...
Wang's on pit right now.
And here comes the 00. But a caution flag would really play into the 92's benefit. He'd get all this track position, and he'd be able to come down and make his pit stop under yellow flag. Got Gary Lewis, the second place driver, as Hunter mentioned, yet to make his second stop.
So when this cycles out, Paul Irvin's going to be your leader.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you're right. Good call, Hunter. The 4 of Paul Irvin's actually a second out in front of Jordan Hurley right now. And it looks like the 92's coming in now.
I would say only downside, though, is he pitted earlier than Jordan Hurley. So Hurley's going to have fresher laps on his tires than the 4 of Paul Irvin.
Oh, yeah. If you can get a camera on the 02 of Jordan Hurley, he is tracking down the 4 of Paul Irvin pretty quickly. So there you see the 02. Right in front of him is going to be the 4 of Paul Irvin. This will actually be, as Hunter mentioned, the race for the win. So great call out there, Hunter. I didn't even pick that up.
That was the good call of the day presented by Northern Capital. We'd like to give a big thanks to Russ and Steve Anderson of Northern Capital for their support of the Northern Capital Truck Series, in which you can watch tomorrow night on the Araya Twitch channel as we see the pass go on between Jordan Hurley and Paul Irvin. That's going to be the battle for third at the moment, but when these next cars come down pit road and Gary Lewis and looks like Dustin Carroll, that'll be the battle for the lead, or that will be for the first position.
Hurley, look at that, posting the quickest lap time, I believe, as well. So that 02, he's got some speed tonight, Hunter. I don't think he came to play too much, and he's looking to pick up his 4th victory of the season tonight. I'm sure there's a little bit of a bad taste in his mouth as well after having the suspension and not being playoff eligible. He's wanting to come out here and show why he deserves to be in the playoffs. You got the 69 of Gary Lewis, though, the only driver who's yet to make his second and final pit stop, currently scored as our race leader.
Yeah, it won't be for too long, though.
Yeah. And the 02 is actually going to catch him maybe before he even gets the chance to come down pit lane. It's only 2.5 seconds back at the moment.
Gary Lewis going to stay out one more lap.
It's actually going to get split almost there, 3 wide. So the 66 car of Bobby Tench is going to be on the bottom, trying to get one of his laps back. Actually, that'll put him back on the lead lap for the 66 of Bobby Tench. Then you got Mark Patterson just behind him, who's 2 laps down on the night, running 20th. And here comes second place Jordan Hurley, just a car length and a half behind the 51.
I'm looking through because we saw Jeremy Horn pit late the first time and one of the first ones to pit early this time around. Oh, Jordan Hurley.
He slapped the wall, yeah.
What?
He kissed it.
I would say, I couldn't tell if he smacked the wall or not, but a close call there. And as I was mentioning, we saw Jeremy Horn, one of the first ones to come down pit road for his second pit stop. He's currently on the lead lap in the 15th position.
We also saw Matthew Robinson cycle back around Paul Irvin for the 3rd spot right now, which will eventually be the 2nd spot. So the 40 is up past the 4. Paul Irvin, I think just a few laps too early on that pit stop might cost him a little bit of time here on the long run. Good strategy call, though, for sure, to try to switch it up. Go ahead.
Oh, absolutely. It'll pay off in the end, too, if a caution comes out, and then he can hit with those new sets of tires. Although I think everybody still has a set of tires at this rate.
Yeah, I don't think there's anybody who's made 3 scheduled stops that's still on the lead lap. We've seen the 34 of Rick Ward have to hit pit road a couple of extra times tonight to serve a black flag, I believe a speeding penalty or something for the 34 of Rick Ward. Other than that, though, it's been a pretty straightforward race for the most part.
So here's one of our drivers to keep an eye out for, Dominic DeLeo, currently running in the 8th spot. He woke up this morning 1 spot out, 10 spot. I shouldn't say 10 spots, although every position is a spot. He woke up 10 points outside of the playoffs, and then Brian Dixon couldn't make it, so he was the first driver. Well, I shouldn't say first driver. He was the last driver in, and then qualifying happened. He didn't have a good qualifying. Jeremy Horn had a better one, so he started the race again. First driver on the outside looking in, and now we're in the closing laps here. What is that, 20 to go?
Yep.
Inside the last 20 laps, and it's looking like he might make the playoffs.
That's a great point. I mean, Dominic DeLeo, this race alone has jumped from the first guy out to the last guy in about 5 times. He swapped back and forth, but all things considered right now for that 21 car, that eighth place run right now that he's having would be enough to get him in. Also would be enough for the 1 of Trevor Williams to secure a playoff spot as well. So both those drivers are looking in pretty good shape as we see the 69 here, Gary Lewis, finally in for his final stop.
It's Bobby Tench, or no, that's not Bobby Tench, sorry, that's Sean Corcoran. Looking to get by the 1 of Williams. So that's right behind Dominic DeLeo. So this is the battle for the 8th spot. Trevor Williams was originally the last driver in on points, and after the Brian Dixon scenario or situation, he's locked in currently, although that can change. But for the most part, it seems like the 1 of Trevor Williams is going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, still a lot can change, though, like you mentioned, in these last 20 laps or so. We'll have to keep an eye on it. So far, 93 laps on the board, 0 caution flags, and it's been Jordan Hurley for a majority of this race out front.
And Matthew Robinson 4 seconds back, and then Paul Irvin 8.6 back from Matthew Robinson, and then Eli Green and Nicholas Trader holding the final 2 spots inside the top 5. And there you see them on the screen right there, the battle for 4th. Trader looking low on Eli Green.
Nope.
Move back here. I believe that is Gary Lewis. No, that is Forrest Smith. Forrest Smith in 84.
He's rebounded pretty nice,
running-
Hunter.
I was say he smacked the wall very early on, running the outside. Surprised that he didn't have as much damage as he did for how long he was in the wall, but he was inside the top 10, and now he's 1 spot outside of the top 10.
Gonna ride on board here with Nicholas Halda. So honestly, Hunter, Halda's doing exactly what he's done all season long. He was the first driver really locked in the playoffs with his win at Daytona. And then after that, he's just had a solid wave of finishes the rest of the season to really maintain a solid points position. And right now you see him running just outside the top 10 in that 12th spot, but he's working on Forrest Smith for 11th. And he gives us this great onboard shot as well.
He's really had no worries since Daytona, because he won that race and was like, all right, well, I can kind of take the rest of the regular season as a joyride, and that's going to change after the checkered flag flies.
Absolutely. So, Halda, though, it'll be nice to for him, I'm sure, to get the reset into the playoffs with his bonus points courtesy of the win.
Here's the
Yep.
battle for 7th between Dominic DeLeo, Sean Corcoran, then Trevor Williams lurking in the background. And then just in front of those guys is the 69 of Gary Lewis.
Also, a quick note with the pace that Jordan Hurley's putting down right now, we only have 12 cars on the lead lap. So that battle for that lucky dog spot is just behind him, and it's between Dustin Carroll and Jeremy Horn. Both those drivers are also outside of the playoffs, needing a win essentially to get in. So definitely an important battle here as well for the lucky dog, if a caution does end up flying.
Wow, sorry, my thing froze.
All good here. Still following this battle between, well, not really a battle you can call it, but the first car 1 lap down, the 92 of Dustin Carroll. Right behind him is the 81 of Jeremy Horn. And then you got this battle picked up here. Man, these guys have been racing hard for a handful of laps now between Forrest Smith, Nick Halda, and Rick Christensen. This is the battle for the 10th spot. A lot of these drivers trying to earn a top 10 to add to their regular season. Looks like Forrest Smith's going to dive to the bottom and try to take away that position.
Forrest Smith, like the last time we saw him, he was running all the way on the outside. He's still looking down low underneath Rick Christensen.
It's getting to that point, Hunter, where if you're going to make a move, if you're going to do something drastic to try to shake up this playoff picture or get yourself in, you got to do it now. We're coming to 12 to go. Next time by is going to be 11 to go. Jordan Hurley's got a commanding lead. There's no more scheduled green flag pit stops. If you're the 21 or the 1 right now, you're in a good spot for making the playoffs. No real worry for them. It's kind of untypical than what we expected, I think, coming into Charlotte tonight.
Aggressive move there from the one of Williams, looking low on Dominic DeLeo. That's going to move him up in the 8th spot. Although Dominic DeLeo is going to put up somewhat of a fight on the outside, but he'll settle back in behind the 1 there in turn 2.
You got to wonder if you're Dominic DeLeo, does he know that he's in the playoffs right now? Does he have that information that he's got that last spot as they run? So I wonder if, Hunter, that's something. Let's say you were a crew chief for one of these guys. Are you telling them they're in the playoffs right now? Or are you not saying a thing and just trying to let them race as aggressive as possible?
If my driver was in a comfortable position, then I would say that I would give them all the information. Like, if my driver was in a comfortable chair or a racing chair from Sim Speed Shop, then I would definitely say yes. I would give them the information that they need. Yeah, great segue for the last 10 laps here, or last handful of laps, presented by Sim Speed Shop. I'd like to give a big thanks to Sim Speed Shop and their support of the Sim Speed Shop Cup Series every Thursday night. You can catch on the Uriah Twitch channel. Racers can visit our website at www.simspeedshop.com to find multiple items to complete their virtual racing setup, such as button boxes, wheels, racing gear, and much more. That's www.simspeedshop.com. And they can pick up a racing chair if they want.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, Dominic DeLeo just got into the outside wall last time around coming out of turn 4. Pretty significant contact. I don't see a ton of damage, luckily for him, but it was enough to kind of catch my attention when I looked up and I saw the 21. I mean, he was in the outside wall from the exit of 4 all the way past the start-finish line, so I was getting a little worried for a second. Looks like he was able to collect the car. He's got a 2.5-second buffer to Forrest Smith for that 9th spot right now. So you gotta wonder, maybe the nerves getting to Dominic DeLeo, or is he trying to hunt down the number 1 Hunter and thinking maybe that's a battle for that last playoff spot?
Well, if he was sitting in a comfortable chair from Sim Speed Shop, then he would have had an earful from either a spotter or a crew chief or someone saying, hey, Jeremy Horn's in this spot. Because remember, even if he's behind Jeremy Horn, Horn's got to be 3 spots in front of him, because that was the gap between the two coming into tonight.
Yeah, and then Trevor Williams really with the best spot of all of them. Well, not all of them, but as far as the playoff bubble guys, he had a 10-point buffer to Dominic DeLeo and a 13-point buffer to Jeremy Horn. So as long as Trevor Williams really finished, inside that top 10 or so, really was going to be no worries for him tonight. He's doing exactly that, running 8th. And there you see Jeremy Horn. Not the night he wanted. He is scored 14th right now. Dustin Carroll was actually able to get around Jordan Hurley and get himself back on the lead lap. So that's going to put Jeremy Horn now in the lucky dog and free pass position if we do happen to get a yellow. Actually, they're still racing here, Hunter, for the potential lead lap finishing position for the 92 of Dustin Carroll and our race leader, Jordan Hurley.
Oh, boy, if a caution were to come out now, I don't know. That would really screw things up.
I'm curious what the strategy call would be for a lot of these guys, because right now, you got the 92 just got around the 02 of Jordan Hurley. The yellow flag comes out. Does he try to stay out on old tires and just hold everybody off and maybe win this race and get himself into the playoffs? Ooh, Eric Shugart in the wall right in front of him.
If he doesn't hit anyone, the Shugart just scraped the wall. If he didn't hit anyone, then maybe. But everyone still has a set of tires left, to my knowledge, including Jordan Hurley. So he would probably come down pit road. I don't think we'd see anyone stay out unless they're in the back part of this field. That's on the lead lap.
I'm not going to lie. Jordan Hurley is racing extremely aggressive with this lap car. And Dustin Carroll as well on his part racing aggressive right back. For a guy that's got a 7-second advantage over Matthew Robinson, you wouldn't really think he'd be messing around with his lap car too much with just 3 laps to go now here at Charlotte. But I don't think Jordan Hurley has shied away from any battles this season.
Well, think about how long it's been since he's had a battle on the track.
Exactly. I mean, that's his own words. He said that exact same thing. Oh, look at the 87.
Close. Very close between Nicholas Hall and Rick Christensen.
This is just outside the top 10 for the 11th spot. With only 3 laps to go, man, a caution could change everything, and these guys are racing hard.
Only one looking for a yellow is Jeremy Horn.
Back up front, Jordan Hurley still putting the attack on to Dustin Carroll, man. It's exit turn 2 side by side. It's not the race for the win, folks. This is the 92 trying to get his lap back the hard way, and Jordan Hurley just not letting it happen.
I don't think Hurley's used his tires up yet, so he's trying to get some good wear and tear on them now.
Well, this is going to be it for those guys that were hoping a caution flag would come out. Not going to happen. Jordan Hurley is going to cross the stripe and take 1 to go, presented by 1 to go Studios here in the Swift Lifestyle Pro Series. Hunter, the America's Auto Auction regular season finale. I don't know if anybody saw it going green the whole way, but that's exactly what it looks like is going to happen.
Looks like it. Even if a yellow comes out, it really wouldn't matter. Jordan Hurley works his way through the middle of 3 and 4 for the final time, and the regular season will come to a close. Jordan Hurley gets the win at Charlotte.
Man, if I was Dustin Carroll, I'd be like, dude, you could have let me finish on the lead lap.
No.
So Jordan Hurley in a dominating fashion.
Oh, Trevor Williams just slowed down on the last lap. He still hasn't finished the race. Trevor Williams just completely let out of the gas coming out of turn 2 like the race was over. And he's coming to the
Very
finish
interesting
now.
there. Not sure what the issue is there with the one of Trevor Williams. He had a big
Oh
enough
my
gap heading
gosh.
into the night, but not really
He
sure
goes
what
down
that
to
does.
12th. He goes down to 12th now. He loses 4 positions on the last lap there, thinking the race was over. And he's going to come home 12th. Luckily for Williams, I think it's going to be enough to get him into the playoffs. But man, that was almost disastrous.
If only he had a good cheer from Sim Speed Shop, he would have had someone in his ear telling him, "Hey, the race isn't over yet." He had a Tyler Reddick moment. Oh no, Eli Green! A crash doing victory burnouts. Eli Green just sliding in and hitting our race winner Jordan Hurley as he attempts to do burnouts, and burnouts no more. All right, that was an interesting finish. Had to give our admin Brad Slaughter a what? What's going on here moment.
Well, don't see Jordan Hurley here to be able to chat. So, Hunter, you want to just go ahead and jump up to second place, Matthew Robinson? Maybe we'll get it talking with him first, see if we can find Jordan Hurley.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Okay, go ahead and catch up here with Matthew Robinson. I believe you got him on pit lane here, Hunter.
Yeah, Matthew, this is Hunter, Harold, and Jake in the booth. Got a copy?
Yes, sir.
All right, well, caution-free night. Pretty sure you wanted to be in front of that. And, I mean, you were for majority of the field, but one driver in front that just dominated the whole night, and Jordan Hurley getting the job done. Although you do continue your top 10 streak going, had the top 5 streak snap last week. But how much of a confidence booster is this for your playoff run?
Well, I know I got pretty good speed on the speedway tracks, and compared to a road course, I'm nowhere close to having any kind of speed. But most of the tracks in the chase are regular mile and a halves, and I like short tracks a lot better too. So we got Richmond in there, and so excited about that, and Phoenix. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Just I got a new wheel before around Christmas time, and trying to get used to that. This was like the first time on it on a regular mile and a half track. So sort of fine tuning that a little bit, and so hopefully we can get it better for the chase.
Well, you got the regular season championship locked up, so a lot of playoff points going along with that. Couple wins on the season. Matthew, you're going to obviously start this playoff journey as the number 1 seed, and obviously it's going to go round by round here. But I got to know, I think I asked you this last week as well, what's the goal for this 40 team in the first season of the playoffs here?
Well, the first, I think we'll have a pretty good lead with the bonus points, and the win all the bonus points we got accumulated. Just trying to just win races and be up front, and try to stay consistent and not make mistakes, and keep that the same way through the whole all the rounds. Pretty excited to y'all have this these different rounds. Like, this is pretty cool. Looking forward to it. But no, I didn't have much for Hurley today. Wish he was looped it in the pit road like he normally does.
Well, Matthew, I think I speak for a lot of people watching right now when I say congratulations on the regular season championship and a fantastic season in that number 40 car. Who helps you get it done each and every week? And any other shout outs you want to give before we let you go here?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Justin Rideout and JW Racing, Track Racer, and you can use JW Racing as a discount code on their website. I'd like to thank y'all area, Jacob Bell, Hunter, Harold. Y'all do a great job with the broadcast. One of the pretty top-notch broadcasts. I really enjoy it. Everything y'all do for the league. It's been a great season. Been pretty quick, honestly, but I've enjoyed it all the way.
Well, Matthew, congratulations on the regular season championship again, and good luck heading into the playoffs.
Thank you.
That was our second place finisher. Got a chance to catch up with him. Hunter, I think we also got a chance to catch up now with our race winner, Jordan Hurley.
Yeah, it took him a while because so fast we had to catch up with him. Jordan, Harold, and Jake in the booth got a copy.
Yeah, loud and clear.
Say you led all but about 13 laps or so. We saw you battle there at the end with Dustin Carroll. Was that just because you really haven't had anyone to battle for the last half of the race?
Yeah, I was kind of just bored, so I was just messing around with him, and I didn't want him to finish on the lead lap, but I was having a lot of fun with him actually. There was nice and good, clean racing. I don't know if he had fresher tires or what. I chewed my stuff up those last 10 laps racing with him, but it's probably the most fun I've had in this league this year so far. So yeah, that was pretty fun. I hope he wasn't too mad at me for racing him that hard, but yeah, that was really fun. It wasn't anything personal, that's for sure.
Yeah, I was going to say you were ruthless out there. Harold made the comment, too, coming out of the last corner. You wouldn't even give him the chance to get a lead lap finish. You made sure you got him a lap down, too. 12 cars finishing on the lead lap. Jordan, coming into tonight, 4th win on the season. Did you think this race was going to go green all 110 laps, and how did you strategize for it?
I was hoping it would go green because I knew that was probably the best chance. I didn't want anyone to get, close to me and give him that shot, especially after that first run. I kind of checked out a little bit, and then even after the second run. My goal was just split it up and even 40, pit at lap 40 and 80, and then take her home after that. Was a little worried about people short pitting, but I know Matthew Robinson really got caught up in that after that first pit stop, and I was able to keep the fresh air and kind of chug a lug away from him after that. So yeah, pretty thankful for that.
Hunter, you got anything else for Jordan here tonight?
No, not really. I didn't know if Harold had anything for him.
I just, looking good now. If I remember right, didn't we talk earlier? It didn't like you picked up the Audible about mid-season?
Yeah, I kind of been cursed since then. I don't think I've won a race or talked to you guys since I signed with them. But yeah, shout out to Audible. I don't know if I obviously got the paints on, but yeah, they sponsored me, and I think we're running for championship points. I don't know how far we are back. I don't think Shane Wolf raced tonight, so hopefully that wasn't an issue. But I'm gonna have to start clicking off. Hopefully I can win the last 5. That's kind of my goal. Hopefully a lot ends up like tonight. I'm gonna hereby suspending everyone else from winning this season since I got suspended. So just letting everyone know. Yeah, so hopefully we can win that team championship, and I'm gonna try my best for Audible Racing.
Well, definitely a good call there, though, to still have that team championship to race for. And you guys aren't too far out of it yet, I would say, either. So definitely a possibility there. Jordan, congrats on the win, man, and looking forward to seeing you back, I believe, tomorrow night, and then also on next week's race as well at Atlanta. You got anything for Atlanta next week? You think you can get it done there, too, at another mile and a half?
It should be more of the same. Hopefully this time I can lead a triple-digit laps instead of only a 90-something.
Well, there you go, man. Congrats on the win, Jordan.
Yeah, y'all take care.
And the O2 getting it done here tonight, Hunter. And our third place finisher, making his first start in the Swift Lifestyle Pro Series, Nicholas Trader, lead 5 laps on the night. You bring it home third place in that number 23 car. Kind of last minute deal to jump here and run the ARCA car tonight. How was your race?
It was actually pretty fun, guys. I mean, figures was a one and done race for me. Get a little practice on Charlotte, but I had a blast. Hoping for a caution, but didn't get that.
Well, obviously headed in, like you said, to tomorrow night's race. A lot on the line in the Northern Capital Truck Series. Probably the tightest playoff battle we have out of all 4 series. A lot of guys still eligible for that final spot. What's your anticipation tomorrow night? I mean, obviously you got 110 laps here tonight on the track. What are you expecting tomorrow night?
I don't know. I've ran some solo runs. It's typical Charlotte with trucks. I mean, loose, tight, especially at a 4. It gets real tight and pulled up to the wall. So hopefully we keep it out of the wall. Hopefully one mine keeps out of the wall. Maybe we can get Drew or Vern a win, get them locked in. Hopefully get them both locked in, at least 3 points. If I can get a win, I'll be down for that. But there's a lot of tough competition over there.
Yeah, you said it. Trying to get another win. I don't typically do Tuesday nights, so kind of just going here off the spot. You got to win this year, so looking at that, making it 2, 5 top 10, 7 or 5 top 5, 7 top 10s. As you mentioned, this is kind of like a practice race to you, and I really have no questions because that was going to be my question. that this was a practice session. Actually, you know what? I just got one. How similar is it racing in the ARCA car compared to the truck? Like, what are the differences and what are the similarities in the two?
These cars just handle a lot better. I've come to find out from what I've ran in the truck to here, they're a lot more controllable in a way, in my opinion. I said the trucks they're so, I guess, inconsistent in a way. Especially like I said, coming out of 4, it just pulls up to the wall, and that wall can come up and grab you. So hopefully, I mean, we'll keep it out of there tomorrow. But I mean, I've had a blast with this thing. I didn't expect to have this one of a race when I hopped in. I had no practice until I got in the lobby at 7:15. So I kind of ran some qual laps and then just kind of figure out how to go from there when the race started.
Well, Nick, you got it done with another top 5 here, but this time in the ARCA cars. Who helps you get it done on that number 23 team? And any other shout outs you want to give?
You guys for letting me in here the last second, of course. Drew for throwing the scheme together for me. I've had the scheme in my bank for a while. He just had to throw the number and the contingencies on there for me. Of course, everybody in one mind. Forrest, Gary, they had a heck of a night tonight. Wasn't their best track, especially for Forrest. He complained a lot about this track, but he still pulled a top 10, so it's good for him. Gary should be locked in, so that's awesome for one mind right now to see everybody locked in so far. So hopefully, come playoff races, we'll start knocking in some more top 5s, not some wins.
Absolutely, man. Well, congrats on the 3rd place run. See you back tomorrow night in the Northern Capital Truck Series, and we'll get to talk to you again soon, hopefully, Nick.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys. See you later.
Yeah, and that is 3rd place finisher, Nicholas Trader Hunter. We're all done. We've wrapped it up here at Charlotte, and we got our playoff field set headed into Atlanta next week.
As we do, as we see the fireworks in mid-boom. Take a look at your finishing results. Jordan Hurley absolutely dominating. He wins the race, followed by Matthew Robinson in 2nd, Nicholas Trader 3rd, Justin Anasogok 4th, and rounding out the top 5 is Paul Irvin.
6th place, Eli Green in that number 28 car. Sean Corcoran's going to bring it home 7th place. We'll see him in the playoffs. Dominic DeLeo with an 8th place finish. We'll also see him in the playoffs, as well as Nicholas Halda and Forrest Smith rounding out our top 10 here tonight.
We go to Rick Christensen in 11th, Trevor Williams 12th, and a strange finish for him. Dustin Carroll 13th, Gary Lewis 14th, and Jeremy Horn 15th.
Yeah, definitely strange with Trevor Williams there, thinking that the race was over, pulling an old Martin there on the last lap. Bobby Tinch with a 16th place run tonight. JJ Wang finishes 17th. Adam Capps comes home 18th. Caleb Steimer 19th, and Mark Patterson with a 20th place run tonight. And our final few finishers, I'll jump in there for Hunter. Eric Shugart in the number 2. Rick Ward finishes 22nd. Travis Beckner, disappointing 23rd place run for him. And Nolan Neiman with a 24th place finish on the night. Well, Hunter, that's going to wrap it up from Charlotte here. We got the Elwood Designs race recap. And I don't want to step on your toes too much. I'll let you go ahead and give us that race recap.
Well, it's nothing but Jordan Hurley and Jordan Hurley. We had no cautions. Jordan Hurley won the race. He led the most laps, and he had the fastest laps. So he hit the Triple Crown in one race.
Yes, he did. Impressive run, to say the least, for Jordan Hurley tonight here at Charlotte. And we will be right back here tomorrow night for the America's Auto Auction regular season finale. So big shout out to everybody tuning in tonight, Hunter. We had a pretty big crowd watching us here on Twitch.
Yeah, always enjoy coming out here on Twitch, and appreciate all the support, the viewers, the subscriptions, followers, anything and everything. We all appreciate it, and hoping to see that tomorrow night. You mentioned Northern Capital Truck Series going to have their regular season finale, presented by America's Auto Auction, and that'll be at 8:40 Eastern on the Araya Twitch channel. And looks like that'll do it from us here at Charlotte. From everyone in the booth to executive producer Harold Darner, Jacob Bell, I'm Hunter Sleppy saying so long, and we'll see you later.
What an exciting race brought to you by Wendigo Studios. Here they come out of turn 4 to the white flag, and it's 1 to go. Thank you to all our sponsors, drivers, and viewers. We'll see you at the next turn.